Hello, back again. In case anyone's wondering about the tree, it isn't related to this video at all, but in case anyone's wondering about the tree, it's not doing so good, but it's not doing any better. Wait, no, not doing any better, but it's not doing any worse. Worse. I'm a bit frazzled right now. I've just been at work for 12 hours, so yay! I think I'm gonna die. Anyway, first episode of Walkies. Yep, that's another script. Walkies. Even has a picture on the back, but that's completely different. Actually, it's not. I've got I'm gonna have different shows almost on my channel, and the literature side will be the Walkies section. All of my channel's nicknames, all of the things on my channel will be in relation to animals, specifically canines or dogs. There's a reason for that. I'd rather not get into it. I've been told I've got some rather freakish doggy tendencies, so I guess there's that. But no, Walkies will be basically about all the books I read, and specifically recommendations and stuff. And I mean, I thought I'd start the channel off with the book that I'm currently reading, and they're normally not going to be novels or stories. They're normally going to be information books, like this one. So basically, there's a book all about. Oh, almost finished it actually. I'm kind of pleased with that, because normally when it's that thick and it's just an information book, I tend to just pick it up and then, and absorb random facts about it. But no, recently I've been getting into the habit of actually reading books. Age is a funny thing. Anyway, there's this one is called At Home, and I've been recently talking to my friend Gary about it. That's why I'm starting this channel, this show on the channel. Got to get my networking thing going. So, Walkies episode 1 is about Bill Bryson's At Home, a short history of private life, which is actually not very short. Although I guess it's a short history because it only entails a certain amount of information. You just go a bit off topic, only very occasionally. But no, okay. So Bill Bryson. I might mispronounce some stuff because I've got dyslexia, and I know I'm a big handicap. Whatever. I managed to write down my script, so I don't know how bad that is. Oh well. I'll start a random thing. It's about houses, which is really cool because you never really think about it, but homes, the whole idea of homes in itself is kind of amazing. Dwellings, people dwelling, is amazing. I mean, you'd think that I guess it's just a drive towards privacy, and he actually goes into that at first, and then completely goes off into his own little world. But I'll get to that in a second. Basically, it's kind of incredible how everything that happens leads up to us finding individual privacy in the way that we do. I mean, for example, it's like I live in a house with my family, but in the house we have common areas and we have private areas, and my private area has become my main area, which I like. I prefer not to go down there and watch whatever they want to watch on TV, eat whatever they want to eat, etc. So I guess it's become my own little apartment, and that's how people develop rooms and stuff which they live in. And it goes into that, but it goes into that in random ways. For example, wow, I get really pretentious when I write stuff down. Yes, at home the author gets distracted, it seems, and what I've written here, which again, pretentious alert, feels like he goes off topic but remains incredibly consistent to the end of the chapter, to what is at the heart of the point. Well, I think this is a bit of a failure anyway. Yeah. What I meant by that is that he goes off into incredible detail almost instantly about like these giant topics, and he doesn't get off of this topic, but then all of a sudden you realise it is insanely important to the point of the room in which we're exploring at the time in the book. For example, he goes off to the Great Exposition. He talks in insane detail about the Great Exposition and the construction and deconstruction and the destruction of the Crystal Palace and all of the stuff in it. And you figure out that that's all about like shapes of windows and why we come to like term certain things the way that we do and stuff like that. And he's incredibly meticulous in this. But he basically is incredibly meticulous to the point where you get distracted, so you don't even remember what chapter you're in, and the chapters are like each individual rooms, which is, I think, very clever. For example, the contents itself is not really a content, it's a floor plan of the house, and he goes through each individual room of the house as if you're going in like a big. I mean, that's the contents, as if you're in a big open house, and he describes everything almost in detail in what is in every room and why we use all this stuff now. Like forks, like he has the whole paragraph explaining. Well, no, actually, he has like a couple of pages explaining why we have 4 prongs on forks. I mean, it's that interesting. I mean, that's interesting to me. Just little things that we have about life. Chaos, typical. Yes. So there's that. The chapters go from room to room, which is why the content is like that. Very random stuff happening on this episode. Also, the time frame's a bit constricted because it's about his house. The floor plan is of his house, which is a lovely Georgian house, and it's really, really nice, and it's actually an old rectory. But I mean, the time scale goes from everywhere, from ancient farming and why farming is important to the house history, the personal history of the house, and then goes off into complete detail about the construction of other houses and grander houses, and even goes as far as to go to Central Park and its making and parks and stuff. But that's because you go into the garden at some point, and then all of this is explained about landscaping and grand landscaping of like the pre-Victorian eras and stuff like that. It's just it's kind of incredible. Even goes into the Ice Age, so it does cover a vast. It's just a random fact book. You've got to have a random fact book. I mean, I tend to read it whenever I'm out. I don't tend to sit here and read. So whenever I'm on the tube, that's the London Underground for people who aren't in London. Whenever I'm on the tube, whenever I'm in the park, whenever I'm just generally bored or want to distract myself, I basically just open the book, which is why these episodes of literature is going to be called Book Walkies, because I go on walkies when I've got a book in my hand. Anyway, so Gary suggested that I do these things. I know Gary's a very terrible name. He's probably gonna watch this. He watched my other 2 episodes, and he's probably watching this now. And Gary, you have a ridiculous name. I'm sorry, you still do. You still have a ridiculous name. Just get a nickname, something. I mean, it's like having like Larry or something. You know, it's the English version of Larry. It's just with a G in front of it instead of an L. Just Gary, please. Just do something. Go to WH Smith's, get this book. It's on their currently got the buy one get one half price. So like, do that when you're at a train station, WH Smith or whatever. Get the book, read it. It's really interesting for people who like anything historical and like random facts. It's not random. It's not a bullet point random fact book, but it's very interesting, and I just recommend it. There's not reference at all. You're looking at books that will refer to construction and like historical construction and stuff like that. It's not a reference book. It's just simply an informative random fact book. A detailed one. It goes at the moment. It's keeping on going to the golden age of history. You know, the exploration of the New World and lots of just pre-Victorian era. The pre-Victorian era even goes as far into like sailing. It covers tons of stuff. I mean, the whole "don't judge a book by its cover" thing is not doing it justice. It basically is way better than it looks, and for a paperback, it's my favourite at the moment. If you don't want this book, I can suggest that you could read the Electrified Sheep stuff, which is also interesting, although not about the specific topic of the home, obviously. It's about random experiments done by people on animals, which is also interesting, and also is like the Elephants on Acid book. I'm really starting to feel the effects of the work. So I'm going to have the rest of my pipe and curl up and wait for my partner to call me. Oh, the tree. Yep, a leaf just dropped off again. Not doing so good. A couple of people have said to me that they would like to be updated on the tree, and it's not doing so well, but it doesn't look like it's about to keel over anytime soon either. And I think it just needs to be dry. Now my finger's wet. Woo. That's not a spotlight. That's not a spotlight. It's just my simple artificial sun. It's not really an artificial sun. It's a bulb.